Ah, you've landed good. What in law's name? Is that him? Oh, that idiot. I told him to plant the beacon and move away, not stand there holding it. Not sure I trusted the fellow. Might have gone after the bounty on my head. Shame about the whole squashing thing. Nasty way to go. Hawthorne won't mind you taking his ship. Better you than the board, huh? Oh well, no sense in letting his ship go to waste. Easy now. You've been frozen for a while. There's bound to be unforeseen side effects. Damn it, my ears! Oh, what just happened? Can you hear me? What in the hell? This... Hawthorne should be close by.
Still here even after all these years. Computer, any security? Oh, okay then. Bring us in. Oh, most certainly. But auto mechanicals are stupid and easily avoided.
Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Good luck. All the colonists are counting on you. Ah, there you are. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, the smuggler. His name is Hawthorne, and he should be waiting for you at the landing site. He's to be your chauffeur, so to speak. Not to worry. I'm told he's a specialist. Dashing gunslinger, one-of-a-kind ship, that sort of thing. You'll like him, I'm sure. I've also outfitted you with a simple wireless monitor, so I can track your progress. I'll check in with you as soon as you land. Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. The board is here. They've found me somehow. They're about to blast my door open. I can't stop them from getting me, and there isn't enough time to explain everything. But there's something very important you need to remember. The board, all their lackeys, they're all a bunch of swine. Do you hear me? They're fucking corporate swine. Thank the law you warned me. I was able to get some defenses up, but they might not be enough. The board has sent some serious firepower to pry me out of here. They're trying to get in here, and I'm not sure I can stop them. If they capture me, if we can't communicate again, there's something very important you need to remember. Well done. You'll love Monarch. Exotic climate, violent native species, fascinating culture, really. You'll need to speak with Hiram Blythe. He's known as the information broker, and for good reason. If anyone knows where I can find those chemicals, it's Hiram. You'll want to hire the services of a skilled guide. I recommend a hunter by the name of Nyoka. Frequents the drinking establishments of Stellar Bay. Very hard to miss. Once you have everything you need, make your way to Hiram Blythe's compound. No, never. Monarch is a hotbed of political activity. I can't imagine why Hiram set up shop there. Cuisine, perhaps? I certainly wouldn't call it boring, especially if your idea of fun involves navigating a hostile biosphere populated by carnivorous monsters. Oh, I've tried. I haven't been able to get through to him at all. Silence from the system's own information broker? Not a good sign. Hiram's peculiar silence leaves us with no other options. You'll have to meet him in person. Oh, could be any number of reasons. Incarceration, a period of copious drinking, a severe case of the sleeping sickness. Better to be sure than to resort to conjecture. Cascadia? I don't know if you're extraordinarily brave or slightly suicidal, but Cascadia is one of the most dangerous places in Monarch. Please be careful out there. Come see me in my lab. I'll answer any questions you have. Best of luck. Everyone on the Hope is counting on you. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help us, find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Good, great, excellent. Let's move on. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing, I assure you. Oh, that, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. I'm sure you're fine. Gladys Kelkelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay. Without a skip drive, good luck. You'll be dead before you make it to the nearest star. Look, I admire your optimism, but the sad truth is you're stuck here. You, me, and the rest of this colony. We're all skating precariously around the edge of oblivion together. None of us are leaving Halcyon alive, so we may as well make it a better place, and we can start by reviving the Hope. Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can get you a key to Monarch, it's her. Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost completely lawless. You'll love it. Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Hence, Miss Gladys Kilkelly. Criminals, goodness no. Smuggling is a perfectly legitimate business venture. If misappropriating board property is a crime, well then, throw me in Tartarus. Plenty of ways to make money in Halcyon, you know. Not all are above board. Oh, above board, above the Halcyon board. Get it? Ah, well, sophisticated humor, puns. Appreciation of puns is a sign of advanced intellect, you know. Well, yes, someone has to be, after all. Laughter, good. Wasn't sure you'd be able to, after so long frozen. I'll make a note of that on your progress chart. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology, years ahead of its time. I call it the Holographic Shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters. Wonderful. Best of luck. Wrong matter of shroud, my slow-witted accomplice. This is, how to put it simply, a device that makes you look different, sound different. Briefly. The device has its limits, but it will allow you to blend in perfectly, and probably won't jeopardize your ability to have children. Will it? No, definitely not. Probably, yes. Marvelous device. I'm quite proud of myself. The shroud changes the user's appearance to mimic that of another. It has limits, first-generation technology, you see, but promising. Exciting to see it in use at last. Very simply, the holographic shroud uses biometric information contained on standard identity cartridges to generate a holographic projection around you. Only stands up to a casual scrutiny. Use it too long, bound to flicker, blur, something like that. Movement makes it more likely. Best used in moderation. When you see guards in your path you can't sneak past, for example. Maintain your distance. Act normal. No running, no jumping. Don't draw their attention. If they pay attention, they're more likely to notice flaws in the hologram. Ha 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 ha! The beauty is they don't expect it. The shroud is the only one of its kind. We humans have a tendency to overlook the unexpected. Activate the disguise, walk past someone. What do they see? A figure dressed like a fellow employee. Don't act odd. They won't focus on you. Ha ha ha! A change of clothes. What is this, some old spy serial? What inattentive and brainless guard would be fooled by such a shabby disguise? The holographic shroud masks not only your clothes, but your face and fingerprints. It modulates your voice and sweetens your breath. Science, that's how. There you are. Thank the law. I was beginning to wonder why you weren't answering. I wanted to congratulate you on finding your way to Monarch. Congratulations. Now that that's over with, there's work to be done. I was going to direct you to speak with a particularly notorious big game hunter in Stellar Bay, but I see you're already acquainted. In theory, I suppose you could land your ship in Cascadia, and in theory, I suppose you might survive the experience. Cascadia is utterly seething with dangerous, highly aggressive creatures more than capable of tearing you limb from limb. You'd have to be a lunatic to land in Cascadia, and I'm reasonably certain I tested your brain for incipient signs of insanity. Trust me, talk to Gladys Kilkelly. You fucking pigs! I'll take you all out with me! I'll never... And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a lie. The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground. I need those chemicals to revive the Hope's colonists. They can help us fight back against the board. They can help us set things right. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions, come see me in my lab. If we don't put a stop to the board, they're going to drive this colony toward a complete societal collapse. You'll see what I mean when you arrive on Monarch.
Die, you traitor!
I can't imagine we've got anything left to say. You know, I could have sworn I tested you for hearing loss, because I did say skip the Hope to Terra 2. Terra 2, not Tartarus. When I pulled you out of the Hope, I never imagined you'd turn me over to the board. Planting a bug in my terminal? That's low. I don't understand. I pulled you out of the Hope. I brought you out of stasis. I gave you the opportunity to help me save every settler on the Hope. We could have saved this colony, you know. That was always the plan. I revive you, you do as I say. I tell you to go there, get me this, shoot that, and you do as I say. If you'd just listened to me, we could have rescued everyone on the Hope. We could have been the saviors of Halcyon. But you didn't listen. No one in this damn colony ever listens. What? Oh, is this thing not working? Can you hear me now? Oh, wait a minute. You were mocking me. Unbelievable. You know, I made my plans idiot-proof because I knew you were a certified simpleton, and somehow, against all reason, you found a way to ruin everything. If you think I'm going to admit defeat and throw myself at the mercy of the board, oh, you're wrong. I've still got some fight left in me. I can still bloody your nose. Too late now, old friend. Can't stop the laws of physics. Oh, equal and opposite reactions and all that. Push a body, and we push back. Don't worry about me. Worry about what I'm willing to do. Oh, I've got nothing to lose. I've got nothing to live for. But I'll tell you what I do have. Oh, I've got a gun. And I've got Adjutant Akande as my hostage. Not bad for an old man, eh? No, it won't change anything. We're plunging headlong into oblivion now, you and I. Killing Akande won't save us, but it will feel incredibly good. If you insist on interfering, I will be forced to kill you, and I don't want that. I don't, you backbiting, double-crossing ingrate. I loathe everything you've done, but I was the one who revived you. I hate destroying my own projects. So am I. I've programmed the Labyrinth's mechanical warden to kill you on sight. I'm sorry to have to do this, but I can't take any chances with you. You were my greatest success, and my greatest disappointment. What makes you think I intend to go on living? Akande and Rockwell may be monsters, but I created you. I pulled you out of hibernation. I set you loose in the colony. It's time I paid the price. Well, yes, the adjutant is your employer after all. I was expecting something of a reaction. Say what you will, but I can't risk letting you interfere. The only thing worse than Halcyon collapsing is this psychotic monster living to see it happen. Don't you tell me what to do with my blood pressure. My heart rate is within a perfectly acceptable margin of failure. Oh, don't you test me. Don't try to call my bluffs. You have no idea how far I'll go. Oh, have you come to humiliate me? Do you want me to admit yours is the superior intellect? Look at you, standing there calm and composed and unflappable as always. Does it please you to see me like this? An old man hanging at the end of his rope. You and your charm and your charisma. You had me so convinced you were on my side, but it was all just some elaborate ploy. Ha! No, of course not. You're the board's lackey now, and isn't that just paying dividends? What did they tempt you with, Power? Money? One of those fancy reclining chairs? Ha! Typical! Yes, enjoy your power and your bits and your fancy chairs. You'll be in Byzantium kicking your feet up while the board herds everyone into hibernation chambers. Calm down. I can't calm down. We don't all have your unflappable temperament. Desperation is all I've got left. Calm down. Oh, I can't calm down. I won't calm down. Calm is the enemy of lucidity. Nothing clears the mind like sheer, gibbering desperation. This is how the board operates. It's not enough that they should win. They must see me fail. Well, I haven't failed, do you hear me? I still have one last gambit. I've got Adjutant Akande here with me. and I'm going to put a bullet through her eye. Of course you do, you and your iron will. You've always been driven by powerful convictions. Once you set your mind to something, you are impervious to arguments. Curse you and your convictions! Why couldn't you have believed in me instead? We could have been celebrating the rebirth of Halcyon at this very moment! You're the deadliest shot this side of Halcyon, and you hired yourself out to the board, a gang of greedy pencil jockeys. I'm sure they put your fists to good use. You've always had a penchant for inflicting pain with your two hands, prowling around the system like some slippery thief, performing all manner of subterfuge on the board's behalf. You're already the board's favorite agent. Just look at you. You're positively dripping with charm and style. The thought of someone as brilliant as you working for that miserable gang of odious bureaucrats. Merciful law. It's downright unfair. Fighting back! I've released every prisoner in Tartarus. We'll take this prison over or die in the attempt. We will not go quietly into the night. And you, don't think I'll go easy on you just because you're a certified simpleton. I don't care how many guns you've brought. If you try and stop me, by law, I'll bloody your damned nose. I haven't lost yet. I've still got air in my lungs. I've got strength enough to fire a gun, and I've got Halcyon's greatest monster strapped to a chair. Adjutant Akande is my captive. If I'm to die here, then she's coming with me. Is that right? Well, I didn't. I brought one, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with it. Were you always this violent? Or did something happen to your brain after I thawed you from the ice? I knew I was taking a risk when I revived you. You were always the unplanned variable in my calculations, but I never imagined you'd be so utterly loathsome. Listen carefully. I'm only going to say this once. You won't have to hear the sound of my voice much longer. I don't intend to leave here alive. I don't know. It makes no sense. It incenses me that I'd lose to someone with the intellectual capacity of a saltuna fish. I'm positively shocked you didn't skip the hope right into our star. No one could possibly have this much sheer dumb luck. I know the board's recruited you, what with your talent for subterfuge and your penchant for slipping around through the shadows. I'm wise to you and your silver tongue. You may have talked your way into the board's good graces, but I'm not about to fall for your rhetorical savvy. You may be gifted in the ways of violence, but I know how to defend myself against you. And you may be a scientific prodigy, but I've got something you don't, incipient senility, and a small army of crazed inmates. I knew you were a born leader from the moment I pulled you from your pod. Well, I may not have a band of loyal companions at my back, but I do have a horde of crazed inmates. Of course you had a choice. You could have chosen any number of ways to tell the board to get spaced. I don't want to hear that. Not from you. The board's only strong because no one fights back. I didn't want things to end this way, you know. For a brief moment in my life, I truly believed we had a chance to save this colony. My life's work has been an exercise in futility. The only honorable way to end it is to go down fighting. Surrender? Oh, I've had a bounty on my head for years. What do you expect will happen if I surrender? Torture. Execution. The board has already extracted the secret of reviving colonists from me. I'm no longer useful to them, so they'll make an example of me. No, I can't surrender. My life is the only thing I have left. I'm not going to just hand it over to the board's mercy. Enough! I can't take any more of this. I know what you're trying to do, torturing me with your words, reminding me of all my failures. Yes, I failed. There, I've said it. I'm a failure. I failed the colony. I failed myself. I failed you. Congratulations. You've broken me. Does that put a smile on your face, you monster? Then I suppose there's nothing left to say, except that I am sorry. I'm sorry for all that I've done, and for what I'm about to do. There's no other way this could possibly end. You and I both know that. I'm sorry about all this. I'm sorry about everything. I just wish we could have... Never mind. It doesn't matter. So am I. The only thing left for me to do, my dim-witted accomplice. You're right, I'm sorry. I need to get a hold of myself. I suppose it's too much to ask you for your forgiveness. I know. And there isn't any time left to make things right. The only thing I've ever wanted was your help. It's too late to help me now. The only thing left for you to do is forgive me. I can't. I'm sorry for involving you in my mad schemes. I never gave you a choice. I revived you and expected you to do my bidding. And I am sorry. I've wasted enough of my breath arguing with you. You're trying to tempt me with your lies. It won't work. I'll never return to working for the board, not if all the lives in Halcyon depended on it. You really are a brute. You delight in violence, and I was the one who unleashed you onto the colony. How can you say that? I spent nearly every waking moment of my life trying to find a way to save the Hope. If not for my work, you'd still be frozen in a pod somewhere, floating in an abandoned starship at the edge of space. I know, damn you. I know that, and I have to carry that knowledge to my grave. Because I was a fool, a short-sighted, obsessive idiot. I was arrogant. I thought I could swoop in and rescue some lucky colonist. We'd fight the board together. Save Halcyon together. I was a damned fool. It's ironic, isn't it? I knew you were a talented shot when I rescued you from the Hope. I'd always imagined you fighting back against the board with a gun in your hand. I never imagined you'd throw in with the board and turn your gun on me. I was a fool. I'd hope I could convince you, make you see things my way, make you understand how horrible the board truly is. But I failed. You're right. I told you where to go. I told you what to do. I put you at risk, without a second thought to your safety. I know. I'm standing here arguing with you. I expect you'll try. Let go. I've barely got anything left. A few tattered shreds of my dignity. A gun. Respect. Fear. What difference does it make? Most of this colony has already accepted the board's authority. I'm alone on this hill. I refuse to believe that. You make it sound as if we're beaten from the start. Don't tell me that. There has to be something we can do. Some way we can fight back. You're one of the finest warriors Halcyon has ever seen. You could have fought back against the board. You're one of the most cunning freelancers Halcyon has ever seen. You should have been able to evade the board's grasp. You could have fought back. You could have spit in the board's eye. You what? That's ridiculous. We're in this mess because your fingers slipped. What absurdity. Years of toil ruined. An entire colony destroyed. Hundreds of thousands of colonists lost forever because your fingers slipped. Pressure, you blithering idiot! All you had to do was follow my instructions. Oh, just forget it. There's no point getting angry at you now. When I pulled you out of the Hope, I knew exactly what I was getting. I'm glad you find this hilarious. You've doomed this whole colony. I almost wish you'd skip the Hope into the sun. My fault. How is it my fault that you're a few stars short of a constellation? What are you, the board's new inquisitor? Yes, you have an unnerving talent for reading people. It's why I pulled you out of the Hope in the first place. Of course, I'm desperate. Even a cornered animal is desperate. It is unnatural for life to surrender in the face of annihilation. The entire colony is just going to march quietly into stasis pods. No rioting, no fighting, no struggling at all. The board just wins, as it always does. It wasn't supposed to end this way. The board can't just destroy the entire colony and then live comfortably in Byzantium while Halcyon falls to pieces. There's no justice in that. I can't believe you'd advocate such a monstrous idea. I can't believe everyone's just going to blithely go along with it. It doesn't even matter anymore. If the board can crush a riot in Tartarus, then the rest of the colony doesn't stand a chance. I can handle failure. Failure is part and parcel to the scientific method. But to fail like this, to see a lifetime of work destroyed, I am ashamed. Damn it. None of this would have happened if I hadn't revived you. How would you know? You didn't spend your entire life working on this problem. Your arrogance is insufferable. All we had to do was revive a few people on the Hope. Scientists, engineers, brilliant minds like you and I. If we can't think of a solution, they will. I don't know what else I can do. I had to believe a solution was possible. I can't believe the board's dumbest scientist is talking down to me. This is a new low. Then we are well and truly spaced. I know. There isn't a damn thing I can do about it. It's far too late now. I'm not wrong, damn it! If only you'd listened to me, we might have saved this colony. I was never proposing reviving the entire ship, not until we knew the colony was stable. So you found out. I suppose it's not enough that you ruin my every plan. You must also humiliate me by reminding me of my failures. Yes, I've killed people. Is that what you wanted to hear? I experimented on dozens of the Hope's colonists. Every last one of them died in agony. Yes, all except you. You were my only success, and my greatest failure. I never should have revived you. Everything you've done, all the plans you've ruined, all the lives you destroyed. I caused it all. I unleashed you on the colony. When I revived you, I had no idea I would be handing the board the greatest agent they'd ever asked for. Reviving you was a sin. I don't deserve to go on living in the world I helped ruin. Why not? There's nobody else trying to revive the Hope. There's nobody else fighting the board. There's nobody else who gives a damn about this colony. There's nobody else at all. I'm completely on my own. You don't have to remind me. There's no future for Halcyon. I'll never realize my dream of saving the Hope's colonists. I have no reason to go on. You saved the colony for yourself and for your board friends. You've won. The board has got everything they could ever want. I don't want to live in a world where the board has won. Yes, that's what I told myself. If I'd only kept trying, if I'd only kept experimenting, I'd discover the secret to reviving the Hope's colonists. I didn't care about the cost. I didn't question the morality of my actions. What are the deaths of a few dozen colonists weighed against the lives of hundreds of thousands? I can't undo the past. So many colonists died at my hands, just so I could revive you. My best wasn't good enough. That's what I can't bear. I devoted my entire life to this project, and it wasn't good enough. I never was good enough. Whatever tomorrow brings, I don't deserve to be a part of it. And what is right? Freezing every worker in this colony? Living in Byzantium while the rest of Halcyon falls to ruin? They were never patients. No, they were just things. Husks of frozen organic matter. It was only when the screaming started that they became people. It always starts with screaming, followed by thrashing, followed by cell death. The average human adult takes 93 seconds to completely liquefy. I had hoped reviving the colonists would make everything better. I could somehow undo all my mistakes by finding that one elusive solution. I had hoped the end would justify the means. Oh, how wrong I was. Nothing can justify what I've done. I don't expect, nor do I want your sympathy. Stop it. Don't you think I know that? I killed all those colonists. I can never atone for what I've done. And why can't I? I deserve it. I killed all those people. Tried and failed. Why shouldn't I be recognized? No one else devoted their whole life to saving the Hope. There's nobody else trying to evade the board at every turn. Yes, I expect we are.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You must have said something to get under Akande's skin. She's gone, and I don't think she's coming back. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough. I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. What you've accomplished is nothing less than astonishing. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all. They've been incredibly effective at concealing the truth. Right now, the only people in the colony who know are standing in this room. Earth is humanity's home planet, Miss Fenhill. The psychological effects of losing our original home will be devastating. You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own. You're experiencing a crisis of faith, Preacher. Don't worry. That just means you're paying attention. I don't want to imagine what'll happen once news gets out. Let's just keep this between us for now. I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own. Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us? You won't hear a word of disagreement from me. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to lead this colony, you have my support. We're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed, and so we have been set free. The chairman? I don't know why you let that heartless creature live, but I'll have to trust your judgment. When I revived you, I thought you were going to help me save this colony. I was wrong. I had our roles reversed, you see. You're the one who's going to save us all. I'm just the one who set you on your path. You've certainly earned your freedom. Halcyon is a better place with you around. You've kept your end of our bargain. Now it's time I kept mine. I'll revive the Hope's colonists myself, and we'll get on with the business of saving this colony. I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Theatrics. Merciful law, I wish I were exaggerating. Ha! All in a day's work for you, eh? I know, my friend, I know. And now it's finally over. The board's finished. It's only a matter of time before the entire system slips from their grasp. What? Break into the most heavily guarded facility in the most hostile world in Halcyon? No, I have absolutely no idea how you did it. You're a goddamn miracle worker. Yes, certainly. I'll help however I can. I don't know what happened, but something must have gone horribly wrong. I don't know why Earth's gone silent. I don't even know if Earth exists anymore. We have no connection back to Earth, and return is likely impossible. We're completely alone out here. I heard it from Akande herself. She tried to pressure me into joining her side, you see. Tried to make me realize that all hope is lost, and that we are alone. She was half right. We are alone. And we're going to have to fend for ourselves, because there's no telling what's happened to Earth. You might have heard of the Earth Directorate's frigate. Half the colony's entire military was on that ship. They were returning to Earth when they vanished without a trace. That was 2 years ago. We haven't heard a word from them since. Whatever happened to Earth likely happened to them. Yes, Akande mentioned as much. Earth hasn't sent us a single message in 3 years. No one knows why. Akande had kept the truth to herself. Perhaps with good reason. Can you imagine what would have happened if word got out? We'd have utter pandemonium. I see. Well, you've certainly earned a treat for yourself. I'll just, get on with reviving the other colonists and saving Halcyon, then. Enjoy your, creamed ice, or whatever you call it. Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow holds. Exciting, isn't it? Yes, you were the one who reactivated that relay station, weren't you? Any message from Earth would have arrived unencrypted. It's been 3 years since our last message. The board tried using drones to contact Earth. Every one of those drones sent back the same encrypted message. Earth is completely silent. You lunatic! You broke into the board's own fortress and killed the chairman just to rescue one doddering old man? You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough. You're here. You made it. I can hardly believe my eyes. You didn't have to do this, you know. Risk your life just to save mine. You've left the board in tatters, but Halcyon is still on the verge of starvation. I just hope we're not too late. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. I'm all right. Akande wanted my cooperation, and she was prepared to beat it out of me. If you hadn't arrived, I might have given it. No, I expect they didn't. You're a force of nature, aren't you? I just hope your efforts were not in vain. You went through a great deal of trouble just for one foolish old man. I know, old friend. I know. Part of me wishes you'd left me here to rot. But what's done is done. I wish I could be as optimistic as you, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth isn't going to help us. No one's going to help us now. We're alone out here, and I don't know if we're going to survive. I had hoped your fellow colonists might hold the key to saving Halcyon, but I don't have nearly enough chemicals to revive them all. Yes, you're right. The road is long, and we haven't a moment to waste. I'll do what I can. I just hope it's not too late. It's time I return to my lab. I'll try to save as many of the Hope's colonists as I can. You're under no obligation to help me. You've done enough already. I could use your help. You're the only ally I've got. And not just because you've murdered every potential leader in Halcyon. We were going to save this colony, you know. That's what I told myself when I pulled you from the Hope. You and I were going to set everything right. Now, I don't know what to think. Earth is gone, and we're going to need a miracle to survive another generation. I always suspected Halcyon might collapse one day. I just thought we would have more time. When I revived you, I thought we were going to save this colony all by ourselves. But I was wrong. We can't save Halcyon on our own. We're all going to have to pull together. Somehow. We are not a colony anymore. Our last connection to Earth has been severed. I don't know if we'll survive, but we're going to have to try our best. I only hope you know what you're getting into. There isn't much of a colony left to run. Thank you. I'm going to need all the help I can get. I know I've asked too much of you already. I revived you into a strange and unfamiliar colony. I put your life at risk. I made you an accomplice to my own ends. I can't tell you how glad I am to hear that. I had a feeling you might say that. If you want to part ways with me, I can hardly blame you. I've spent 35 years obsessing over the Hope's colonists. My failures are my own. I don't want you to waste your life trying to help me pay for my own mistakes. I doubt I could change your mind even if I wanted to. You've already done more than I could ask of you. I wasn't trying to hide the truth from you, but after all you've done, I owe you an explanation. Yes, I experimented on the Hope's colonists. Each of my experiments ended in catastrophic failure. Each of my subjects died in agony. You are my first and only success. I didn't tell you about the others because I didn't want to burden you. My failures are my own to bear, not yours. Thank you. Perhaps in time I'll learn to forgive myself. My apologies. I need to get a hold of myself. We've far more pressing issues to worry about right now. If you have any more questions, ask me. I'll answer as best I can. I'm not asking you to forgive me. Law knows I won't forgive myself. But I'm going to try to set things right. You have every right to think of me that way. I know I can never win back your trust, but I'm trying to set things right. Get me out of here!
Ah, you made it. Can you hear me through this thing? Make yourself at home. So, how's the old unreliable running? Feel free to look around. My lab may look a mess, but I have everything exactly where I want it. Hello? Can you hear me? Does this work? I'm just securing my ongoing experiments. Oh, damn it, blast, that's loud. And securing myself. Mind the mess. I haven't had a visitor since, in fact, I've never had a visitor. You know, that escape pod had a 12% risk of catastrophic failure. Quite safe by Halcyon standards. Cysty pigs make excellent test subjects. Also surprisingly nutritious. I see you're still wearing your hibernation outfit. You're welcome to a matching set. Your old hibernation mask. Had to remove it, you know, in case you were prone to vomiting. Reviving you from hibernation was my greatest accomplishment. Your odds of survival were a mere 28%. Careful, that's my communications terminal. Ah, that should do it. You've bought me more than enough time. You've sent the corrupted signal as we discussed. Yes? I'll take your silence as an affirmative. Armored glass. Not bad, eh? Aha! I see you found my portable molecular compression device, better known as a shrink ray. Find a target, point, shoot. Your target will shrink down into a manageable size, whereupon you may commence beating them to a pulp. Feel free to try it on a marauder sometime. Oh, for law's sake, I was saving that for a special occasion. Careful, Bubbles is not for experimentation. Look at this mess. Oh well, at least the tumors are still edible. What's on your mind? Never know what being frozen did to your brain. There's always a chance you might turn violent. Oh, it's not you. I do experiments in that room. Some of them get quite scientific. The unexpected is to be treasured, but from a safe distance. Regardless, it's quite comfortable in here, you know. I have my beans, have my caffeinoids, plenty of toilet paper. Well done. You'll love Monarch. Exotic climate, violent native species, fascinating culture, really. If you were anyone else, I'd run a diagnostic on your brain. The run from Cascadia to Stellar Bay is a gauntlet of violence and death. You'll need to speak with Hiram Blythe. He's known as the information broker, and for good reason. If anyone knows where I can find those chemicals, it's Hiram. You'll want to hire the services of a skilled guide. I recommend a hunter by the name of Nyoka. Frequents the drinking establishments of Stellar Bay. Very hard to miss. Parts failure, you know. That's why it crashed. A combination of human negligence and technological scarcity, leading to the tragic loss of life, leading to cover-ups. I've no desire to end up like Thompson and McDevitt. I've no desire to end up like Thompson. I've no desire to end up like McDevitt. The adjutant must have sent you some kind of tracking code. If you don't use the code, she'll suspect you betrayed her. You absolutely should. Sarcasm, the last refuge of the witless. Thank you very much for consulting with me, thereby averting the possibility of doing something silly, like destroying the tracker. Use my communications terminal to corrupt the tracking signal. While the board busies themselves trying to decipher it, I'll have plenty of time to prepare my defenses. The board's going to catch up to me sooner or later. This way I'll have time to set up some particularly nasty defenses. The enemy is bound to discover my hideout sooner or later. I'm prepared for that eventuality. This is just my way of buying myself a little time. No, never. Monarch is a hotbed of political activity. I can't imagine why Hiram set up shop there. Cuisine, perhaps? Oh, I've tried. I haven't been able to get through to him at all. Silence from the system's own information broker? Not a good sign. I certainly wouldn't call it boring, especially if your idea of fun involves navigating a hostile biosphere populated by carnivorous monsters. Hiram's peculiar silence leaves us with no other options. You'll have to meet him in person. Oh, could be any number of reasons. Incarceration, a period of copious drinking, a severe case of the sleeping sickness. Better to be sure than to resort to conjecture. I was going to direct you to speak with a particularly notorious big game hunter in Stellar Bay, but I see you're already acquainted. Once you have everything you need, make your way to Hiram Blythe's compound. So, that's what happened to the cantankerous Canid. Oh, the board churned out nonsensical propaganda to cover up its disappearance. But I knew something was wrong. Yes, it's almost as if I'm suggesting the gunship is some kind of metaphor, but I wouldn't do that. I'm allergic to symbolism. Oh, go right ahead. Certainly. How can I help? It wouldn't surprise me. When I pulled you out of the Hope, the board nearly intercepted me. I expect they stepped up security since my little act of larceny. I know you're wondering why I'm doing all this, why I believe the people on the Hope are the answer to the colony's problems. It's because one of them has proven to be exactly that. I wish you the very best of luck. Skip drives were never designed to be used within a system, but I skipped my ship across Halcyon when I rescued you, and that turned out fine, mostly. Unlikely, the Hope is as massive as the Groundbreaker, but compared to the Rings of Terra 2, positively minuscule. The board might notice, possibly, depending on the position of their heads relative to the depth of their collective posteriors. I think you should use the code and send a corrupted tracking signal. That should buy me some time. That is, I ruined my ship and nearly killed myself in the process, but the maneuver was well within acceptable margins of risk. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Absolutely. Let's talk. No, and I've been trying very hard to avoid making eye contact. Wait, not another word. I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know who you are. Let's just enjoy our plausible deniability while it lasts, shall we? Why don't you just invite the entire colony to my secret, carefully concealed laboratory? It isn't as if I wanted privacy. Oh, fine. As long as you're vouching for their character and they aren't touching things. For what it's worth, I am pleased that you found a crew, such as they are. You may be extraordinarily dim-witted, but you've got heart. I'm sure your crew sees that as well as I do. You're a talented scientist, after all. Our kind has always been incredibly popular. You're a natural leader, after all. Law knows Halcyon's in need of real leaders. I picked you out of the Hope for your talents, after all. It's only natural that others would gravitate toward you. Yes, indeed, well done. Also, you still haven't spontaneously liquefied, which pleases me immensely. Progress. That's odd. I'm at least 65% certain my tone was sufficiently sincere. Perhaps the glass is distorting my voice. Must look into that. Oh, very well. I can be a little cantankerous when I haven't had my caffeinoids. You have my apologies, and so forth. No, I was being rude. I'm not accustomed to extending hospitality, and I've never had visitors before. Oh, goodness, no. I wouldn't survive 10 seconds in the blackness of the aether. Well, no, I imagine I'd last at least 12 seconds before I'd lose consciousness and die of hypoxia. Life outside work? No, of course not. My life is my work. To answer your question, I'd rather stay right here in my lab. There's too much work to be done. The Hope's colonists won't revive themselves, you know. Because we've lost our way, the board has a stranglehold over this colony, and we've all been conditioned into total obedience. The Hope is full of specialists, scientists, engineers, talented individuals like you, people who haven't been corrupted by the board. Unfortunately, the Hope's colonists have been frozen for decades, well past your shelf life, so to speak. No offense. Ah, you begin to perceive the truth. Yes, according to the board and their narrow-minded scientists, you should be a pile of organic sludge right now. I live in a glass box with my experiments. Do I look like I care about social graces? I'd rather work on perfecting my research. Precisely. The chemical I need is dimethyl sulfoxide, rare, potent, essential to reviving long-frozen bodies. Yes, that troublesome bounty on my head. I've been a fugitive ever since the board caught wind of my research. My work is my life. The board can put a price on my head, but they can't scare me into stopping my research. Remarkably well. After all, I managed to revive you without too many adverse side effects. We're even having a real conversation. That's progress. Once you steal some chemicals from Byzantium, we can finally begin the process of reviving the Hope's colonists. I'm just waiting for news from Hiram Blythe. I'm quite sure he knows the location of those chemicals. I still need your help, however. The sooner we discover the location of those chemicals, the sooner we can begin reviving the Hope's colonists. My progress is tied to your progress. We're in this together, my friend. I'm well aware of your scientific acumen, but you're far better suited to working in the field than I am. Leave the blackboard work to me. 10 years. That's how long the average human can remain in hibernation. You were frozen for decades. In theory, you never should have survived the revival process. But the conventional theories are wrong. You're living proof that it can be done. There's yet hope for the hope. Get it? I see. Well, never mind. Let's just pretend it was hilariously witty and move on. We'll do our very best to save them all. Right. So much for banter, eh? I'd best get back to work. Oh, I can feel my last dose of caffeinoid fading. Yes, accomplice, associate, call yourself whatever you like. The fact remains that you are my greatest success. I know I'm asking a lot from you, but you've done so much already. The mere fact that you're standing here is a marvelous success. Dimethyl sulfoxide is the missing ingredient, the key compound essential to reviving a long-frozen colonist. Of course, I'll be here, as usual. I enjoyed the occasional aether wave drama in my youth. Not anymore. All board propaganda. I'd rather not be brainwashed. Are you still annoyed at me for launching you into space? That was in the past. I've long since moved on. I need those chemicals to revive the Hope's colonists. They can help us fight back against the board. They can help us set things right. Get me those chemicals, and I'll revive the Hope. Revive the Hope, put a stop to the board. Stop the board, save the colony from destruction. Cause and effect. Simple, really. The Hope is carrying some of humanity's most brilliant thinkers. Scientists, engineers, experts in their field. If we work together, we can still find a way to save Halcyon. For that matter, everyone else's lives are also my work. An entire colony's worth of lives are at stake. It's up to me, up to us to set things right. If we don't put a stop to the board, they're going to drive this colony toward a complete societal collapse. You'll see what I mean when you arrive on Monarch. The board would have us believe Halcyon is beyond saving. I choose to believe otherwise. If there's even the slightest chance we can save Halcyon from oblivion, then we have to take it. I hope you're not thinking of ingratiating yourself with the board. Chairman Rockwell and his cronies are not your friends. You've done fine work for Sublight. By the transitive property of reputation, I am now in Sublight's good books. Well done. I've heard those iconoclasts have a rather smashing opinion of you. Get it? Smashing? Iconoclasts? Oh, never mind. I've kept myself busy in your absence, optimized my formula. I'm now confident I can revive the remaining colonists. All I need now is the dimethyl sulfoxide. I'll take as much as you can give me. No, it wasn't. We have, well, let's see, we have at least some of the chemicals. We have your ship, and we have you. That has to count for something. Short of lining up every member of the board and shooting them in the back of the head. What makes you think you'll get that chance? You'll be long dead before you make it to the nearest star. For better or worse, you're stuck with us here. Do you know what's waiting for us on the Hope? Scientists, engineers, artists, the brightest minds Earth ever sent us, uncorrupted by the board. We need to get to those colonists before the board. I have enough chemicals to start reviving a few of them, but no easy way to get them off the Hope. If we link up the Hope to the Unreliable, then use your navigational computer to calculate a reasonably safe vector, we can skip the entire colony ship into the rings of Terra 2. You'll need to switch on the Hope's auxiliary power using the Unreliable. Then head to the bridge. Your navigational computer, Ada, should be able to activate the Hope skip drive. Just wait until you hear the details. I haven't been this energized since the time I injected myself with raw caffeinoid. Hold on now, hear me out. I haven't taken leave of all my senses. I hope you change your mind about skipping the Hope. It's the only chance we've got. I won't wish you luck on the Hope. Can't rely on luck. Rigorous calculations and sound logic. That's the ticket. I'd clap you on the shoulder if I weren't behind a wall of bulletproof glass. I don't know how you did it, but Hiram Blythe just sent me everything I needed. Bad news. Hiram Blythe is dead, utterly tragic. The colony has lost an invaluable resource. Good news. He sent me everything I needed. Good old Hiram. According to Hiram's message, Minister Clark has ordered a suspicious amount of dimethyl sulfoxide. It's almost as if he's hoarding the colony's remaining supply. Ah, yes, the details. I'm not about to ask you to rampage through Byzantium trading bullets with the board's agents. We'll have to resort to subterfuge. Oh, I understand it must seem impossible to you. Infiltrate Byzantium, the crown jewel of the colony, steal a batch of rare chemicals from a heavily guarded estate. In order to do the impossible, you must first divide it into a series of smaller, less impossible tasks. If I had time and several blackboards, I could explain the details to you, but, to put it briefly, dimethyl sulfoxide is the reason you're alive today. The chemical is absolutely essential to reviving the Hope's colonists. I need you to steal as much as you possibly can. The more, the better. Carmen Imagawa. She's my contact in Byzantium. Meet her at the docks. She'll have all the necessary intelligence you require. Remember, you're looking for dimethyl sulfoxide. Big green bubbling vessel with a warning label. I'll take as much as you can find. Of course, of course. You can trust her if that's what you're asking. Imagawa is the finest special agent in Byzantium that money can buy. My money, anyway. Damn, that's not enough. Not nearly enough for the whole ship. I could revive a handful of settlers. Maybe, possibly, damn. Do you realize what this means for the Hope? For your fellow colonists? The board's going to kill them all. Toss them out into space, just to make room in their hibernation chambers. What? Oh, yes, well, that's obvious. Anyone with 2 working lamps can see this colony's slouching toward oblivion. That makes 2 things we don't have. Time and chemicals to revive the other settlers. Freeze all the workers? Why? So a gang of powdered toffs can carry on living in Byzantium? You call that a plan? Merciful gibbering law, you're a genius! Skip! We can skip the Hope, don't you see? If we can't go to the Hope will come to us. We bring the Hope to us. Skip the entire ship across the distance of colony space, right next to my lab. Yes, exactly. You're a step ahead of me, but I perceive the shape of your plan. Nonsense. You were speaking entirely from the heart, or the part of your brain responsible for sudden flashes of brilliance. No, I didn't. I was too busy admiring the elegance of your plan. Of course, mull it over, pace about. Tell me when you're ready. That's not a plan. That's a goddamn escape clause. Hold on. Let me see if I understand this correctly. You're saying that Halcyon's on the brink of total collapse, and the chairman's plan to save all of us is to save himself? I know! I've suspected as much for years. Of course, I don't expect the board to do a thing about it. They've been driving our colony to the brink of destruction for decades. We're out of time. We're out of chemicals. We may very well be out of options. If the board has their way, we're all going to be spending the rest of our lives frozen in stasis. Oh, thank the law. Your skin hasn't spontaneously changed color. Potential side effect of the revival process. Very rare, but you never know. Right. Welcome to my little habitation, such as it is. I've got caffeinoids, cysty bits, if you're into that sort of thing. So, welcome. Make yourself at home. My secret hideout is your secret hideout. Please, by all means. The one I gave you before your pod landed, ruined beyond repair. Impossible to find replacement parts. That's Halcyon Manufacturing for you. Don't worry about it. I'm reasonably certain you're not going to spontaneously expire. No need to monitor your recovery. Not at all, my intrepid accomplice. I should thank you for tolerating my somewhat brusque manner. Oh, balderdash! You hadn't yet recovered your faculties of speech. What was I to do? Dear so-and-so, would you like to be shoved into an escape pod? Blink twice for yes? Nonsense. There's no such thing as luck. Only well-calculated margins of error. You survived that fall in 85 out of 100 simulations. Of course. Yes, well, you're stuck here with the rest of us. Halcyon's our cesspit now, and we're all circling the drain together. We can wallow in our collective misery, or we can try to make Halcyon a better place. I only regret that I couldn't save more of your fellow settlers, what with being hunted by the board, and emptying my supply of necessary chemicals. Still, I admit I may have been a touch hasty, even thoughtless. I do apologize if I rushed you. Something about being discontinued due to severe adverse reactions. It's fine. You'll be stealing the chemicals, not ingesting them. Human test subjects. Oh, that's grotesque. That's unthinkable. That's exactly what I'd expect out of the board. Thank you. You've brought me enough chemicals to get started, at least. I'm just sorry they came at the cost of human lives. And those poor people, they must have died in agony. What exactly was the board trying to accomplish? What nonsense! People aren't just slabs of meat the board can freeze and thaw at their convenience. You say the board's trying to freeze their subjects over and over again without inflicting permanent damage? Well, they're nowhere close to solving that problem. I'll tell you this much. The board scientists are hopelessly lost. After years of fruitless experimentation, they've made exactly zero progress. I used to work for these people. I'm intimately familiar with the utter incompetence of the board's own scientists. Yes, I bet they did. The board scientists are more worried about pleasing their superiors than making real advancements. Excellent question, my sharp-witted mechanic. You will use your own ship to power up the Hope skip drive. Your navigational computer can handle the rest. Yes, there's always a risk of a catastrophic collision between the Hope and, say, Terra 2, in theory. But you'll be fine, provided your calculations are correct. Yes, excellent. I approve of your enthusiasm, young man. You should ask your captain for a raise. Your instincts are correct. By any reasonable definition of sanity, this plan is crazy. Isn't it wonderful? Well said, whatever you are. So, good news. You're going to Byzantium and stealing those chemicals. Exciting. All right, I've got it. We can't possibly take my lab and all my equipment to the Hope, yes? That would be insane, so we do the slightly less insane thing. Once you've skipped the Hope next to my lab, I'll have easy access to the frozen colonists. I can start reviving them immediately. Typical elitist, hoarding supplies during a time of scarcity. Once I have those chemicals, we can revive the Hope's colonists and put some decent people in charge. If you don't bring me enough chemicals, I might not be able to save the Hope's colonists, and then nothing will stop the board from destroying this colony. I don't know about you, but I'd like to live in a colony that isn't marching toward oblivion. I always knew Halcyon was heading toward a systems collapse, but I never imagined we were already there. The board made this crisis, and now they want to solve it by freezing the rest of us? None of this was supposed to happen. I was supposed to revive the Hope's colonists. We were supposed to have enough time to solve the problem before we all starved. The board's going to dispose of them all and transform the Hope into a prison for the rest of us. They're likely on their way to the Hope as we speak. The board's mismanagement put our colony on the road to collapse. If we don't put a stop to them, thousands of colonists are going to die. I'm giving you my old nav key to Byzantium. You'll need it to land in the Golden City. Aloysius Clark, Minister of Earth. Virtually every colony requires the presence of a Minister of Earth. Clark is complicit in every one of the board's crimes. Whenever the board issues some new decree, you'll find Clark's signature on the dotted line. I'd rather not see all of Halcyon descend into chaos like a monarch. Once I have those chemicals, I can start reviving some intelligent, sane people to help me save this colony. They might tempt you with promises of wealth, but don't be fooled. They're just using you for their own ends. Why do you think we've been doing all this? I revived you to help me save Halcyon from annihilation. Something about this feels wrong. I don't know why the board would ever conduct such an experiment, unless they're working on some kind of hibernation technology. Those poor people, they must have died in agony. What exactly was the board trying to accomplish?
I bet you could arm wrestle a primal. Oh, you look better than my anatomy chart. This one could twist a marauder's head off. Let's just hope you're handy with a gun. I hope you're ready to shoulder a burden, friend. Ooh, they must have been feeding you Spacer's Choice rations. At least you don't have rickets, yet. Muscular atrophy is practically a hobby in this colony. Swift as a cheetah, also less extinct. Fastest gun in Halcyon, or you will be once you get hold of a gun. A pickpocket par excellence. Your quick hands could get you hired by Sublight. I bet you could slip into all sorts of hard-to-reach places. Slippery fingers. You'll need to be careful handling those chemicals. 2 left feet, huh? No matter, bored outlawed dancing years ago. You never did get used to the ship's gravity. Nerve damage in your extremities. I just hope your brain's quicker than your hands. A genius! And the board was going to leave you to rot. If I had your brains 30 years ago, we might not be in this mess. You memorized how many digits of pi? You've got a once-in-a-generation mind. If I can't save your body, I must at least save your brain. That's all right, friend. I'll be the brains for both of us. I'll have to use smaller words around you. You took a few blows to the brain pan. You're a few stars short of a constellation. Oh dear, you spelled your name with a 5. With your sharp eyes, you could have been an Aetherwave detective. Nothing gets past you. You would have made a formidable constable. You have an unnerving talent for reading people. Eyes sharper than a Terra ray. You might become the system's most dangerous sharpshooter. Oh dear, your corrective lenses need corrective lenses. You've run into your share of lampposts. Someone made a note that you're oblivious to flirtation. You're about as subtle as the Spacer's Choice mascot. You tend to miss obvious cues, like incoming walls. Charismatic enough to give the chairman a run for his bits. You could charm your way into Byzantium. You're a block of frozen meat, and I like you already. Even your frozen body has a winning smile. You're going to have people hanging off you like tumors on a cystipig. Oh dear, someone vandalized your hibernation chamber. You've been commonly described as odious and boorish. It says you had a habit of snarling at people. You won't be quite so boring after you've saved the entire colony. Some people are rough around the edges. You're serrated. Unflappable, you could have captained this very ship. You're like that Spectrum potato chip, unruffled. You've got ice in your veins, and not just because you're frozen. If you were any more composed, you'd be a symphony. It's as if you're psychologically incapable of feeling anxiety. I hope you won't yell at me the moment I wake you up. High blood pressure could keep you from blacking out at least. You'd need a navigational computer to find your temper. Oh dear, did you actually punch out your anger counselor? I bet you could thaw yourself with sheer rage. A pugilist, how exciting. I bet you're vicious with a tossball stick. What I wouldn't pay to see you challenge the chairman to fisticuffs. Good. I need someone who can smack a little sense into this colony. Ah, a blunt force trauma specialist. I might have a job for you. A crack shot. Capital. We'll put those marksmanship scores to good use. You are going to paint the system red, my friend. I hear Monarch's in need of more game hunters. A gunslinger. Oh, they're going to tell stories about you from here to Hephaestus. You could have been a goalie for a tossball team. Reflexes of a bristling canid. Good. I need someone with an instinct for self-preservation. You're going to be hard to kill, though not from lack of trying. Yes, I should pick someone likely to survive a hail of gunfire. If we're ever captured, I'll let you do the talking. I hope we haven't lost that silver tongue to frostbite. You could probably talk your way out of a landing ticket. Someone with the talent for exploiting insecurities. You could make a vicar doubt the law. If you wanted to steal from the rich, you've come to the right colony. Subtle and discreet, exactly what I need. You had a hand in everyone's pocket. You certainly know your way around a macpick. Things tend to vanish off tables whenever you're around. At last, a kindred spirit. Look at that, a real scientist. Your skills would have been wasted in a corporate lab. Ah, a fellow tinkerer. You wrote that paper on breeding a cystipig with 30% more tumors. Chairman material, or at least captain. A steady hand at the helm. You would have made outpost administrator within a year. A rabble-rouser, perfect. The colony's full of rabble. Like barking orders? Good. We're used to being bossed around. No discernible aptitude? We'll see about that. You're so much more than your designated profession. I'd say your aptitude is being incredibly lucky. Good for you. Don't let the board tell you what you're meant to be. You're better off without an indenturement contract. You were a swill jockey? Waste of good talent. You were going to help us drown our sorrows. The board's been replacing you with vending machines, you know. Know how to mix a 0G? Maybe you can fix a drink for me. 3 promotions away from junior bean counter. I hope you're not going to demand a receipt. Ah, pencil pushing, a noble profession. You must have been brilliant at organizing stationery. Bureaucrat, eh? You'll have plenty of company. At least you know the value of money. Handled bits for a living, huh? Working your way up to provisioner? I can be reasonably sure you know how to add and subtract. Good. I might require you to push a few buttons. Someone has to spool the wires, I suppose. Construction, eh? How riveting. I wonder how many volts you've taken to the brain. I hear Edgewater needs an electrician. At least you'll know not to touch electrical fencing. Your career was on the rise. You poor thing, made to listen to that dreadful music all day. At least you're not claustrophobic. This colony does love its elevators. Not much risk of injury in this profession. A laborer, you'll have plenty of company. You've got all your limbs, at least. You'll feel right at home in our Saltuna canneries. No missing fingers? You are good at your job. You must have had a vivid imagination. It'll be a miracle if you make anything grow. You're going to be so disappointed by our dirt. At least you're not afraid of getting your hands dirty. Ah, a real salt-of-the-earth type. We colonists prefer our food canned, not grown. You've got a cast-iron digestive system. Ah, I see. A gourmand by trade. No signs of monsterism. Lucky you. I hear Rizzo's was hiring candy testers. Good, you're used to having chemicals pumped into you. Don't we have mechanicals to do this? If this were an aetherwave drama, I'd say something about cleaning up the colony. I bet you're a genius with a mop. I'm about to save you from a lifetime of cleaning our latrines. You know what they say, cleanliness is next to lawfulness. Maybe you can do something about this lump in my neck. Junior grade? Oh, morphine dispenser. I hope you're comfortable with needles. A physician? Not many of you left. Safety inspector? Oh, they must have meant bribe collector. There's an archaic profession, like town crier or civil defender. You're going to hate what I'm about to do to you. I didn't know they trained safety inspectors anymore. Nothing about what we're doing is even remotely safe. Class A. Oh, right, test subject. I do have a lot of dirty test tubes. Well, you are technically assisting me. I wonder what experiments you were subjected to. A lab spread, eh? Huh, we all start somewhere, I suppose. Sous chef? Some kind of flavor specialist? I'll have to ask you for a good Sisty Pig recipe. I bet you know how to spice up a sal tuna ration. I hope you know how to cook with mostly inorganic material. Can you really compete with a Spacer's Choice frozen dinner? Not the circus time clowns, I hope. How degrading. Oh, the damage to your soul may be irreparable. Now's your chance to have vengeance. No one can see you cry inside of a mascot suit. This one's decent, I suppose. Let's see, what do we have here? Wonder if I left the microwave running. You're all so average. Next. It's like a catalog of mediocrity. This one's so normal. Decisions. Come on, Phineas, pick one and leave. Excellent cellular integrity, not likely to liquefy. Yes, you look like you can take a beating. No signs of muscular atrophy. Splendid. You could survive on the surface of Tartarus, briefly. This one seems promisingly resistant to physical torture. Very low likelihood of explosive cell death. Good metabolism, high likelihood of digesting saltuna. You shouldn't have any trouble digesting our food. Rather anemic, but at least you'll fit in. Must remember not to sneeze near you. Quick on the draw. I wonder if you're also morally flexible. But are your wits as quick as your fingers? I see you had a knack for misappropriation. Oh, your test scores were better than mine. Almost. Finally, evidence of intelligent life in Halcyon. You'll need all your wits to save your fellow colonists. Finally, someone I can have a conversation with. It says here that you solved mathematical problems just for fun. An intelligent colonist. I remember when we had those. This one's smarter than my navigation computer. You're easily brainwashed. Glad I found you before the board did. I bet you really can believe it's not Borst. I bet you could see right through the board's lies. An eye for detail. I bet you wrote some thorough reports. I bet you're going to be very popular in this colony. If I had this one's charisma, people might actually talk to me. This one had what are those called again? Social life. I wonder if you've ever considered a career in pictures. You're easy to like. Should come in handy if you're stopped by a guard. You could get away with all sorts of illegal activity. Cool-headed, and not just because you're frozen. Let's hope the trip back to my lab is as easygoing as you are. Stiff upper lip, even without all the ice. Hundreds of thousands of colonists left to drift out here forever, just to keep from damaging the board's bottom line. Disgraceful. Let's see here. Which of you is qualified to help this old fool out? Looks to be your lucky day, my friend. Shit. Ah, there you are. Wondering what's going on, eh? Bit of bad news there, I'm afraid. Your colony ship was inexplicably knocked out of skip space and forced to complete its journey at sublight speeds. This means that you and every other colonist on the Hope have been in suspended animation for 70 years, give or take. Normally, reviving someone after so long leads to some quite horrifying results. It's called explosive cell death, but it's really more of a liquefaction. Something wrong? Oh, yes, well, not to worry. I've pumped your body full of a special concoction I devised to keep you from dying so horrifically. Hopefully at all, but I guess we'll see, yes? Unfortunately, I used the last of my chemical supplies saving you. I know it's a lot to ask, but I must have your help securing more if we're to save the rest of your fellow colonists. I'd see it done myself, of course, but the board has a sizable bounty on my head. Now, my ship is inoperative, but I've managed to hire a smuggler to help you out. He'll be... Oh, I see we're in position. Good luck! Not likely, bootlickers. No, you may not. Safety override. Initiate skip jump. Activate skip drive. Initiate skip jump. What do we have here?